Hello, Kyle is wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time for new NJPW New Japan Road, the event from June 20th, 2022. The event just finished a few moments ago, and I'll say it was definitely a really good show tonight. A lot of people weren't expecting much, but I thought the two qualifying semifinals matches for the AEW All Atlantic title were going to be pretty good, and they even exceeded my expectations. So nobody was putting any stock into those matches. They end up being really good, and we got a really good title main event. The main event tonight is the junior heavyweight tag team titles. We're going to be defended by 629, that's Taguchi and Master Wato, against United Empire's representatives TJP and Francesco Akira. So that was the main event, and then we'll get into all of that. You can go check out. I've got on my channel the reviews for last weekend's Dominion card, the second biggest event of the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they've just finished up Best of Super Juniors tournament before that, and we've got these few little shows because coming up next is the G1 Climax starting in about 2 weeks. So tonight at the intermission, they were one of the biggest news coming into tonight is the intermission will announce who's in what block, so we get to see what all the matches are. So I'll let you guys know that once we get to the intermission. Just real quickly, I wanted to go through last night's card. Last night was a non-televised event, so I have the Dominion review on this channel, and I also reviewed Saturday night show from the 18th, but they also had a show on the 19th. So I'll just quickly tell you the results from that. Clark Connors, who's in one of the two qualifying matches tonight, defeated Young Lion Rohei Owa in 7.5 minutes. And then another person in the qualifying matches, Hanma, got a singles match himself against the Young Lion Yuto Nakashima. That one lasted about 8 minutes. So a good little warm up for Clark Connors and Hanma, who meet each other tonight. That was last night. Suzuki Gun teaming up with Minoru Suzuki and Kanemaru defeated Kosai Fujita, another Young Lion, and Tomohiro Ishii. So Kanemaru and Ishii were in the other qualifying match for the All Atlantic. The winner of that will fight tomorrow night, the winner of the two matches tonight, and then the winner of that tomorrow night will then go to Forbidden Door on Sunday night for AEW and fight in the four-way title match for the first ever All Atlantic champion. So here's Suzuki Gun, Minoru Suzuki, who we did not see tonight, but he was there last night in a winning effort with Kanemaru. We all know that Fujita probably got the pin or submission. This one lasted 10 minutes. Then there was an 8-man tag that we'll see a rematch of the exact same 8 people tonight. And this was Chaos, Goto, Yano, Yo, and Yoshihashi defeated House of Torture last night, which was Dick Togo, Evil Show, and Yujiro Takahashi. They'll fight again tonight. That one lasted 8.5 minutes last night. So again, these are the just quickly going through the card that was non-televised from last night. And if you are interested in watching this card and you've never gotten in the New Japan before, you're just here for the AEW news, and you're just maybe interested because of the Forbidden Door pay-per-view this weekend, you can go on njpwworld.com and watch this entire card tonight for free without any sign up or anything. Just go on the website and stream it. Um, no payment, no credit cards, no sign up required. So I would recommend to go watch these, at least the final 3 matches, which were all great matches. So again, this is from last night. United Empire uh, was the six-man tag. I mean, United Empire's Aaron Henare, Francesco Akira, and TJP defeated 6 or 9, which is Master Wato, Taguchi, and Jado. So that was last night's 6-man tag leading up to tonight's main event where the titles will be on the line. And the semi-main event last night was Los Ingobernables de Japón, which is Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi, who've been teaming up this entire tour. If you remember, Saturday's show was in Hiromu's hometown, and he got to be in the main event. Hiromu will be in the main event again tomorrow night, cashing in his ticket, which his ticket is the Best of the Super Juniors trophy that he won for the 3rd consecutive time just a few weeks ago, and 4th time out of the last 5 years, which a lot of people are getting a little bit tired of how much Hiromu's winning that, but Hiromu is amazing. And last night, Bushi and Hiromu beat Bullet Club's Gato and Taiji Ishimori, the champion, the junior heavyweight champion. So those two will fight tomorrow night, and they fought again tonight. So that was also a rematch from something we got tonight. And then main event from last night's untelevised events was Los Ingobernables de Japón, Sonata, Shingo, and Naito, who've also been doing nothing but six-man tags on this little mini tour before G1, and they defeated Tenzan, Okada, and Makabe last night, which we also saw that tag team fight on Saturday. So that leads us up to night 4. There was also before Saturday an untelevised night 1, but this is night 4 of the New Japan Road Tour from June 20th, 2022. And again, this is free on njpwworld.com. Go check it out. And so we got the New Japan Road hits Corrigan Hall Monday night, June 20th. That was what just happened. That was the event from tonight. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships will be at stake in the main event, while wrestlers seek to make statements on the road to G1 Climax 32, as well as Forbidden Door this weekend. So a lot of big things on the horizon to look forward to, as well as the big title match and 2 qualifiers tonight. And of course, we will get the announcements for all the blocks for G1, which there are 4 blocks this time. So 4 blocks of 7 for 28 competitors total. I'll get to that at the intermission. We'll talk about the preliminary matches first. The preliminary matches were just so. A lot of it, they've been training the young lions. Those are the rookies a lot in these preliminary matches, which is really good experience for them. So like I said, the biggest news item probably of the entire night will be the G1 blocks at intermission, but we've got the 2 qualifying semifinals slash first round match of the qualifiers. The winners of those 2 matches will meet tomorrow, like I was saying. And then the winner of that match goes to Forbidden Door in a 4-way match where Miro and Pac have already qualified, and we'll see on Dynamite this Wednesday on AEW. It'll be Pentagon Obscuro versus Malachi Black for the 3rd spot, and by then we'll already know who wins tomorrow night's um, finals for the last qualifying spot. So that'll be tonight. The 2 first round slash semifinal matches: Ishii versus Kanemaru, Clark Connors versus Hanma, and then the main event, like I was saying, 6 to 9. That's Taguchi and Master Waddle defending the junior heavyweight tag titles against United Empire's TJP and Akira. So we get the same opening video package that played before Saturday's show, but I didn't mind seeing it again. It was a really good video package, despite me not understanding Japanese. It does explain the storylines if you just watch it. So match number 1 of tonight is Kosei Fujita. We saw him on Saturday, almost beat Taka Michinoku. And Kosuke Fujita takes on Aaron Hanare one-on-one in the opening bout this evening. With his debut G1 Climax 32 entry confirmed, Aaron Hanare is fired up to participate in the tournament of tournaments. And as 6 or 9 and Hiroshi Tenzan found out at Dominion, the Ultimate Weapon has been working even harder on some fearsome strikes. Fujita will be looking to escape relatively unharmed tonight, but may not have much to say in the matter. So that's the little preview they wrote. If you want to find these previews, you got to dig deep in the New Japan website under the news section. And if you go under the news and scroll, you can always find little previews about each card. So that's where I get these previews. They say, like I said, we saw Fujita, the young lion, almost beat Taka Michinoku 2 nights ago, but if you guys know, the young lions, or the rookies, if you want to call them that, almost never beat anybody that's not a young lion. So Fujita has had about 77 matches now. He's only 19 years old, so a really blue chip prospect here. Fujita's won 7 of those 77 matches, all of them against other young lions. So, which is a lot more than any of the other young lions. So Fujita is definitely the prized pupil, the blue chip athlete, and I can't wait to see him go on excursion. I'm guessing he'll go to CMLL. They'll try and get him. He's definitely looks like a junior heavyweight, so probably get him some lucha libre experience coming up soon here. Something to look out for. But Hanare is his opponent, and he looks really primed to make a deep G1 run. I'm really interested to see if they give him an easy block. We'll find that out at intermission. I could see them giving him an easy block, and Hinari would be a dark horse to win his block if they gave him an easier one. But spoiler alert, it doesn't look very easy. So I don't think Fenari will make it out of his block as the winner, but I do see him having a really good deep run and springing some upsets along the way, and being in contention for that semifinal spot in the G1. So something to look out for. We saw Aaron Hanari at Dominion. They've brought in a boxing coach, former WBA welterweight champion Jesse Vargas has now been brought in as Hanari's boxing coach to improve his striking. That's already really top quality, even better. So Hanari, that even makes me more think that Hanari's primed for a deep G1 run. He's also been perfecting his full Nelson finisher, that's been submitting people left and right. So here we get the Young Lions music that pretty much starts out every single event. All Young Lions have the same music. Fujita runs out, you're forced to run out. You have to have black trunks, a simple move set, no gimmicks, no frills, no nothing. Everybody's finisher that's a Young Lion is a Boston Crab. So Hanari's out next, and he looks much cooler when he doesn't have TJP and Akira with him. Hanari doesn't look like the kind of guy that would ever hang out with TJP and Francesca Akira. They look a lot nerdy, more nerdy compared to Hanari. But Hanari starts strong in this match against Fujita. It shows off his striking dominance. Hanari much larger than Fujita. Like I said, Fujita looks like he'll be a junior heavyweight going forward. Hanari dominates. Fujita tries to use his striking, but that was a bad idea against the much superior striker Hanari. So we get a rear naked choke applied by Hanari, but Fujita gets to the ropes. Crowds clapping and cheering a lot, trying to rally for the young lion. Fujita tries to strike again, but again fails. But a drop kick does work a little bit better. A belly to belly suplex is then blocked by Hanari. So if you remember when Fujita almost beat Taka Michinoku on Saturday, it was with the really good belly to belly. But that same belly to belly blocked here by Hanari, and Fujita then tries an overhead belly to belly suplex that does work, and that fires up Fujita. Fujita attempts the Boston Crab but fails. Then he again goes back to the striking Fujita does and fails, of course. The much better striker Hanari able to out muscle him, Fujita that is, and Hanari's full Nelson is applied. Fujita taps out. Hanari keeps the hold applied. The bell rings about 30 times, and Hanari does not release the full Nelson submission hold until Fujita passes out. So Hanari making a statement here that he's not to be messed with. He's ready to make a deep G1 run, and I definitely see him being in contention. We'll go over the blocks when I get to the intermission. But I wrote here, I keep saying it, don't be surprised to see Hanari win his block. Now that I've seen the blocks, I was thinking maybe they would give Hanari a little bit of an easy block, but it doesn't look like his is very easy. We also see that Tai Chi is on commentary for the Japanese commentators at this point. One thing I have not mentioned, now this event is free for you to go watch on New Japan World, and I watched it live. It just finished a little bit ago here. It was only Japanese commentary. So if you're the type of person who requires English commentary to watch wrestling, they will be in post production writing or making some English commentary for these shows, usually within a week of them coming out. And then a lot of the shows, including all of the G1 tournament shows coming up in a couple of weeks, will be live. Will have live in the arena commentary in English by Kevin Kelly and Chris. So they'll be back for the G1. They were just here for the entire month of the Best of the Super Juniors, as well as the big Dominion cards. So they went home to family in America for a few weeks before they make the month-long trip again. So that's where the English commentary is right now. If you watch the product enough, you almost don't need them because you actually know what's going on and stuff like that. So, but just word of warning: if you go right now for that this free event, it will be in Japanese commentary. All right, second match of the night is going to be a rematch from last night. It's Chaos, represented by Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Toriyano, and Yo, and they'll go up against Bullet Club, but the subsection of Bullet Club, House of Torture, and this is going to be represented by Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, Sho, who those three are the never open weight 6-man tags. And Chaos is definitely has been looking for those 6-man tags on these tour with all these matches against House of Torture. So House of Torture also flanked by Dick Togo as their 4th man in this 8-man tag. And the little preview they wrote was 2022 started with chaos embroiled in warfare with House of Torture, and the year reaches its midway point with the two teams colliding once again. Thoughts are on G1 Climax 32 in just a few days, but first, Chaos would certainly relish a win over the never six man champions. So I could definitely see in one of the shows before G1 starts, we might get a six-man never open weight tag match, championship match between Chaos and House of Torture, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Chaos go in the G1 as never open weight six-man tag champions. So Chaos comes out to Goto's music again, just like they did Saturday. They beat House of Torture in this exact lineup of 8-man tag last night. So we'll see if they can win two in a row here. Um, even and I note here while watching Yoshihashi make his entrance with the rest of Chaos, even after watching for years, some of the intricate details of everyone's like personality is still kind of hard to figure out for all the Japanese speaking guys. And I just always think of Yoshihashi as just like totally aloof or like almost a drunkard that doesn't really care too much. That's just a little side note here that it's kind of hard to tell some of the intricacies of like how Yoshihashi and what his actual personality is for an English speaker. But anyway, House of Torture's out. The Evil's music. Like I said, they're the six-man never open weight tag champions minus Dick Togo. He's not part of the champs. Yano yells at them that they're taking too long to get ready, so that was kind of funny. Excuse me. We get a four-man two sweet from House of Torture, and then the bell rings, and they immediately go in a brawl with the other four. So that was kind of a funny opening. But yeah, the bell rings. We got an 8-man brawl. After that, Yujiro and Goto end up in the ring. Yujiro bites Goto. So we're getting one of those kind of matches. You kind of know to expect when it's a House of Torture match. Tai Chi seems to say something on commentary about the bite, but of course I don't know what he says. But it sounded kind of funny. Now all four Chaos do that pound in the back with the fist on Yujiro, but then all four House of Torture members do the same thing to Yano's back. So we're getting this kind of match, like I said. Evil gets a 2 count with a boot on Yano's chest while standing. We get a 3-person splash with Sho and Yujiro on the bottom. Kind of hard to explain, but Yujiro's on the very bottom. And then they threw Sho on top of him. And then 2 of the Chaos members splashed on top of them. I think Yo and Goto. Evil then with a kick to Yoshihashi's back from outside. This gives House of Torture the advantage. And Evil tags in now that Yoshihashi's down from his kick. Let me get a quick drink. Sorry about that. And yeah, like I said, Evil's in now. Yoshihashi's down. Yoshihashi's able to counter a suplex and then tag in Yo. Yo's been looking really impressive all the way throughout Best of Super Juniors and all these shows ever since Best of Super Juniors. Yo's really been looking like he's primed to make a singles title run, in my opinion. But it looks like he might be getting the 6-man tag instead for the time being, if everything I think is going to happen comes true. So Evil then uses the ref to hold Yo's leg and gain advantage again. So lots of cheating from House of Torture. But Yo then fights all 4 of House of Torture off by himself. Goto and Yoshihashi are now in for a triple team move on Evil with Yo. Yujiro saves the pinfall. We get a bridging pin by Yo, but this is interrupted by Dick Togo. And then Evil hits his finisher to pin Yo out of almost nowhere for the 1-2-3. So the heavyweight with the pin over the junior heavyweight here. Something that you see in the never open weight 6-man tags. You see a lot of heavyweights pinning junior heavyweights. So something to keep in mind as we going forward. But like I said, Yo's been looking really good out there for the last 6-7 weeks or so. He's really found his form and looks confident in the ring. These two teams seem to be trading wins on this tour, so we'll see where it all leads. Of course, I'm pretty sure it'll lead to a 6-man tag title match. It should be in Kurgan Hall, which is where the beginning of July events are, which is where we are tonight and tomorrow night. So I think it'll be in Kurgan Hall, which is Chaos Country. So um They all stand over the fallen body of Yo, all four members of House of Torture. Show, Yo's former tag partner in Roppongi 3K, steps on Yo on his way out. And not too bad of a match here. It wasn't overly gimmicky, not too much cheating compared to the normal stuff. So, all right stuff so far. We go into our third match. It's another Young Lions special here. We've got Rohei Oiwa and Yuto Nakashima teaming up with Okada. So a definite great experience these these on this tour. These young lions have been teaming with Okada a lot, but this one's Okada with two young lions, and he will be going up against all three heavyweights out of LIJ. So it'll be Sonata, Naito, and Shingo teaming up yet again. Here's what they wrote for the preview: a major opportunity for Yuto Nakashima and Kosai Fujita, which they wrote that wrong. It is Rohei Oiwa in this match. Sees them teaming with former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Okada. So Nakashima and Oiwa is teaming with Okada, and as they take on Naito, Shingo, and Sonata of LIJ. Less than 1 month away from G1 Climax, four of the tournament favorites are all in this one six-man match, while two young lions get the chance to show how they'll be part of the tournament of tournaments soon enough. So good preview there. And yes, that is the story of this match. Even with the LIJ faction, I'll get into that as we go. We get Cold Skull Sonata's music. Then we get Sonata comes out with this terrible looking, really cheap looking "I'm Back" t-shirt. Just really cheap, and I don't know. I would refuse to wear that if I was Sonata. But then Shingo comes out to his music, and then Naito out to his music. So this is a common theme. They have not been all coming out to one music. LIJ's been all coming out to their music, and lots of claps for Naito when he comes out. Like I said, the three LIJ heavyweights are all in G1. They've all been teaming up on this tour in six-man tags. And every time at the end of the matches, they'll do the three-man fist pose or the fist raise, and always they tease some tension between the three when they do that. So definitely teasing some tension as all three, Naito, Sonata, and Shingo, want to win the G1, and they don't even know, but they will find out in about 15-20 minutes if they're in the same blocks or not, which, spoiler alert, all three LIJ members are in separate blocks. But definitely I could see like Naito and Shingo both winning their block and meeting in the semis or the finals. So definitely teasing some tension of the fact that they know that they might meet each other in the G1 coming up. So that's really cool. Um, Okada's music hits, and he's out with the Young Lions, of course. Really good learning experience for the two Young Lions here. So I write down here, Okada basically has three goals. It's not like I've had an interview with him, but I've just been watching long enough to know that Okada has three goals leading up to January 4th, starting now. So, of course, he wants to win G1. He wants to be in a title match or the title match at Wrestle Kingdom, whether he already won the title or he holds the G1 certificate for the chance at the title. So that's the second goal. The third goal that he wants to finish before January 4th, Okada that is he's mentioned it before at the 50th anniversary show. Okada really wants Antonio Inoki to at least appear at one of these events. Antonio Inoki has been estranged from the company that he founded 50 years ago, and Okada wants more than anything, maybe even more than the title at this point. He wants Antonio Inoki to appear at one of these events. So I'm hoping that Okada can at least get the Inoki, but I assume that Okada will be the person to win G1, and I assume we will get a Jay White Okada rematch at Wrestle Kingdom. Um, that's what I'm thinking right now. It could always change as we get going and closer to G1 here, but that's definitely what I'm thinking. So I think he'll accomplish two of those three goals, and then it's up to Antonio Inoki if he is going to appear at a New Japan show before the end of the year, or if it waits until Wrestle Kingdom, that'd be all right too. So anyway, um, everything's really quiet. All six men are out. Everything's super quiet before the bell rings, and then when the bell rings, all hell breaks loose. So that was kind of funny. That was cool opening. The two young lions here that, of course, again are Nakashima and Oiwa, and the two young lions start out really strong. They get a double team on Sonata, but then of course Sonata takes both of them out after a few seconds. Okada then runs in and counters that ball move that I think the Paradise Ball or something, or Paradise Lock that Sonata does. Okada quickly counters that and into the big swing like Cesaro does. Okada sells that he's dizzy after the swing, so that was funny. Nakashima is now in. He beats up Sonata, who Okada had just worn down. Nakashima loses a striking exchange to Sonata. Nakashima, if you guys don't know, has not had as many matches as Oiwa and other young lion we saw in the first match, Vegeta. Those two have both had about 77 matches, where um, Nakashima's had about 50, and Nakashima's actually the oldest out of the three. Nakashima's 25, Oiwa's 23, and Fujita is 19. So Nakashima definitely looks like he could be the one out of the three that develops into a heavyweight as opposed to a junior heavyweight, however. Anyway, going back to this match, um, Nakashima had just lost that striking exchange to Sonata. Now the KOPW trophy holder Shingo's in, and then you can immediately hear Tai Chi on commentary saying something about um, Shingo. Like if you remember, Tai Chi and Shingo had a really close contest at Dominion for the KOPW trophy, in a really cool idea for a match. Just real quickly, if you didn't see that match, it was 10-minute time limit. However many pin counts you get, not pin falls, pin counts. So if I get your shoulders down for one, I get 1 point. And then if I get you quickly down for another one, I now get another point. I'm up to 2 points. Then if I hit you with a huge move, I get you down for a long time. I get you down for 4 count. Now I add 4 to my points and I got 6. But then you almost knock me out and you get a 7 count and win. So that's how that match works. And I love that idea. I think maybe 10 minutes was a little bit too long. If you shorten it to 5 minutes and have it be like a mad dash, really high pace scramble for points throughout the entire 5 minutes, I think you have a winning formula for a match idea. I don't think it'll be a New Japan thing where they run this like more than we've already seen, but any other company out there I think should steal that idea. Anyway, Naito's now in, so that was Shingo was in and Tai Chi was talking about him. Naito then gets in. Nakashima's just really getting beat up by everybody. Okada and Oiwa strategize on the outside of what they're gonna do. Probably it was just Okada telling Oiwa something that was good for his training. Again, getting really good experience for the young lions. Shin goes in and takes out Okada, who was looking to tag. So make sure that Okada can't get the tag in. He takes out Okada from the apron. That was Shingo. Nakashima then gets a big counter and crawls over and tags to Oiwa. Oiwa gets in and lights up Shingo with some forearms, a corner drop kick. Shingo is 16 years older than Oiwa. I write down here. Excuse me. Oiwa then locks in the finishing maneuver of every young lion, the Boston Crab. Shingo powers his way out. Then Shingo's no sells some forearms and takes down Oiwa. So the young lions can't get anything going here. We get a top rope elbow drop, and Okada has to break up the pin. So Oiwa is in trouble here. Okada stays in just long enough for Oiwa to get back up, but immediately Oiwa gets knocked back down for Shingo for the 1, 2, 3, and almost no Okada in this match. So maybe Okada feeling it a little bit after that Jay White match, and now he's had 4 more matches in the 7 days since that big Jay White title match. So Okada probably needing a night off, doesn't quite take the night off. Instead, chooses to train the 2 young lions. So everything's good with that with me. We get the 3-man fist raise pose, like I've been telling you. There's been tension every time they do the 3-man fist raise, and we've got all these tension. But we will find out after the next match what the blocks are. And like I said, they are not in any of each other's blocks. All 3 members of LIJ that are in the G1. So the only way for them to meet is either the semifinals or the finals. And they're definitely I could see Shingo and Naito, like I said, meeting in the semis or the finals. So Shingo even teases hitting Naito this time. So the tension's at an all-time high. Shingo laughs it off, but Sonata and Naito look surprised. That was kind of funny. Shingo gets in Tai Chi's face, who's over on commentary, remember, before he leaves. And that might be we might be getting Tai Chi with another rematch for the KOPW trophy, perhaps before G1, but maybe we won't see a KOPW trophy match until after G1. Our fourth match, our final preliminary match before we get to the three big ones after the intermission, is the other two members of LIJ, Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi, and they'll go up against Bullet Club, Taiji Ishimori, and Gato. And again, this is a preview match for tomorrow's main event. The final preview for Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori before Tuesday's main event, IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, sees Ishimori paired with Gato against Hiromu and Bushi. Takahashi has declared that he wants to seize his fifth IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship from Ishimori in a jam-packed Hurricane Hall on June 21st. Perhaps some of those final tickets may be moved with a key statement made tonight. So Bushi's music hits just like Saturday. All five of LIJ gets their own music and entrances. Hiromu Takahashi now comes out. The crowd loves him. Hiromu's coming out holding the Best of the Super Juniors trophy, his ticket to the junior heavyweight title match tomorrow. Taiji Ishimori music plays and him and Gato comes out. Again, Hiromu gets super close to Ishimori during Ishimori's pose while he's getting introduced in the ring, and even closer than Saturday. So he's inching closer and closer each day. And tomorrow they meet. So I thought that was pretty funny from Hiromu. So then um Gato wants Gato wants Hiromu. Wait, Gato will start the match despite Hiromu wanting Taiji. So Hiromu's in the ring wanting Taiji Ishimori to start the match. Gato says no, he's starting. So Bushi will start the match with Gato. And the announcers are saying something about Jay White here. Probably how Gato helped Jay White a lot in that title match and that title win on Saturday. So Bushi immediately pulls Gato's beard and tags in Hiromu. So that was kind of funny. Then the action spills to the outside. Taiji pokes Hiromu in the eyes, then throws Takahashi into the ring post. The ring bell hammer is now cracked across Bushi's head by Gato. That looked pretty nasty. Gato then rakes Bushi's eyes. Taiji's now in and pokes Bushi in the eye. And then a little bit after that, pokes Bushi in the eye again. So a common theme here, going after the eyes. Gato tags in, and now the turnbuckle pad was taken down and exposed the turnbuckle underneath where Bushi's face goes into that. So Bushi's having a rough time here. And they're really double teaming and taking out Bushi. And I write down here, well, that just really makes no sense. Like, wouldn't they want to soften Hiromu, who has the title match tomorrow, unless the plan here is to take out Bushi first and then double team Hiromu? But it just doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you want Hiromu in the match the entire time? And like Gato versus Romu as much as possible with double teams every chance you get. So none of that really makes sense. The fact that they were so double team and focused on Bushi, it really didn't make sense booking wise to me at all. Um, After that exposed turnbuckle shot to Bushi's face, um, the crowd really claps loud to get Bushi over to Hiromu. Hiromu gets the tag in on the hot tag, comes in with a lot of fire. We get a Hurricanrana to Ishimori, the clothesline, and two shotgun drop kicks to Ishimori. So Hiromu is really coming in strong here. The crowd's fully behind Hiromu Takahashi. Some really good counter wrestling now between tomorrow's main event title match competitors. So really good preview for it. That should be a great match tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure Hiromu will end up winning, but we'll see. There has been a lot of backlash about Hiromu winning too much. So we shall see how that goes tomorrow night. And I will be here to cover it live when it ends right after the match. So it then turns into a dueling forearms The dueling forearms last for a long time and then includes knees and then kicks. The exchange is finally won by an Ishimori springboard kick. So good exchange there between Ishimori and Hiromu. Gato's now in and hits Bushi on the outside so that he can't tag in. Triangle choke on Hiromu to Gato, from Hiromu to Gato now for the submission. So we get the Hiromu just putting Gato away easily here. We get the submission victory with the triangle choke. Ishimori grabs his title and stares down Hiromu and is about to leave, but Hiromu gets on the microphone. Again, I don't know exactly what he says, but it seems like he talks about the best of the Super Junior win and the title match tomorrow. And Ishimori is still here. He hadn't left yet. He's smiling at Hiromu while Hiromu's talking. The crowd claps. Hiromu talks a lot here, pretty fast, pretty quickly too. And Ishimori gets back in the ring, stares down Hiromu, points to the gold, talks a little bit of trash, and then Taiji Ishimori leaves. And Hiromu tells the camera that he'll be the champ. So now we get the intermission, and before we fully go into intermission, they tell us what the G1 block lineups are. So we've got 4 blocks this year of 28 participants total. That means 7 people in 4 blocks. The 4 block winners will then meet in a semifinals match. I'm assuming it'll be A versus B and C versus D, but I'm not completely sure on that. We'll have to look into it. But here it is. Here is your blocks. I'll give you each block and my little bit of notes I wrote about each one while it was happening. And then I'll tell you. So I'll give you A and then my thoughts, and then B and then my thoughts, and then C, so on. So A block. The biggest cheer when they announced all the surprise competitors from the Japanese crowd was Lance Archer. So Lance Archer, the first one announced here. So A block will be Lance Archer, Bad Luck Fale, Toru Yano. And it was at this point I'm like, wow, we're just putting all the people that we didn't really care about in one block here. But then we get Jeff Cobb, Jonah, and Filthy Tom Lawler. So again, 6 people here, all of them big guys. We've got 3 English speaking, 5 English speaking. Yano was the only one of the 6 that's Japanese. And then rounding out the 7th in A block is Okada. So the former champion and last year's winner, I think he won last year, is Okada. Maybe it was 2 years ago. So wow, all big guys, because even Okada's a pretty big guy. All big guys in this A block. Only 2 Japanese out of the 7. Okada with a lot of fresh matchups here. And so the fun part is when you know that everybody's in the block, you know that they fight everybody in that block. So that's why this is such a big deal. So yeah, Okada with some fresh matchups here. Every single person in this block is pretty big as far as size. And then Okada versus Yano should be a fun all chaos match. That could definitely be one of those matches where Okada loses points to some heel cheating or distraction or some kind of craziness from Yano. But yeah, Okada versus Cobb, Okada versus Jonah, Okada versus Tom Lawler. All good matches. Okada versus Lance Archer should be good. Archer versus Jeff Cobb's going to be amazing. Archer versus Jonah. Jeff Cobb versus Jonah. Basically, almost every match except for the ones involving Yano and Bad Luck Fale are going to be good in this match. I like that they matched all the big guys together. It's going to be the super heavyweights versus the super heavyweights in A block. So now we get the B block. First one announced, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion himself. I forget what happens if the holder of the IWGP World Heavyweight title is also the holder of the G1 certificate, the Wrestle Kingdom. So there's a possibility we could see that, and then we'll find out what happens. I know they have it written in the rules, and I've looked it up before, but I can't remember. So Jay White, first one announced for B block. Joining Jay White will be Tama Tonga. So right off the bat, there's a huge match. Jay White and Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga basically blames Jay White for kicking Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa out of Bullet Club in favor of the Good Brothers. So Jay White, Tama Tonga, Tomohiro Ishii, Tai Chi, Great Khan, Chase Owens, and Sonata. So that's your 7 for B block. Jay White, Tama Tonga, Ishii, Tai Chi, Great Khan, Chase Owens, Sonata. So like I said, Tama gets some revenge on Jay White potentially. I could see Tama Tonga beating Jay White potentially, and that'll be a title match that we get in a month after that time or whatever the next big event is. I could see that happening. Chase Owens has to fight his leader, Jay White. That should be interesting. Um, Other than that, nothing too much of note. Ishii's kind of getting older now. We've seen the best of Ishii. Tai Chi is a fun one. I like Tai Chi. His entrance alone is worth it. Great O'Con, it should be interesting to see how he does in here. Chase Owens, we've seen many matches. We know what to expect. And Sonata, we pretty much know what to expect. So, um, pretty good stuff. Maybe after I go through every block, I'll tell you who I think will win each one. C block. Now this one, first one announced is Naito and then Zack Saber Jr. So there's a great matchup right off the bat. Then, so Naito, Zack Saber Jr., Kenta, Evil, Goto, Aaron Hanare, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. So gonna be really tough for Hanare to get out of this one. If you remember, I was saying I could definitely see Hanare getting out of his block and winning his block if they gave him a easier route. If Hanare's block was like Bad Luck Fale, Yano, Chase Owens, Great O'Con, Tai Chi, stuff like that. I could see Aaron Hanare being the surprise winner of a group like that. But he's got Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, and Tanahashi, as well as Evil and Goto that could play spoilers. So it's going to be tough for Aaron Hanare, but I definitely see Hanare getting some upset wins. Maybe a big tap out victory over Tanahashi. I could see that potentially happening. Um, Maybe a big win over Kenta, who Hanare is much bigger than, and Kenta would probably lose the striking battle. So potentially good stuff there. Evil might show so the Kenta versus Evil match in this C block might show us the first cracks or signs of Jay White's version of Bullet Club and the House of Torture version of Bullet Club. So we haven't quite see how they have interacted yet. I said in my last review that I assume Jay White will have no problem with House of Torture being in Bullet Club as long as A, they serve a purpose to him, and B, don't need his help. So as long as House of Torture wants to help out Bullet Club when they can, Jay White will be fine with it as long as House of Torture doesn't ask any of the Jay White Bullet Club for help. So this could be the potential first sign of showing cracks in Bullet Club with the Kenta and Evil match. Um, Other than that, like I said, Hanare definitely probably not getting out of this group, but that would be a true shocker if Hanare gets out of that group. D block, we've got Will Ospreay, El Phantasmo. So right off the bat, that's a great matchup. Will Ospreay versus El Phantasmo is in D block, will happen. The next two are Juice Robinson and David Finlay. If you remember, Juice Robinson turning heel recently, joining Bullet Club and leaving David Finlay, his former tag partner, in the dust. So we get to see Juice Robinson versus David Finlay. We get to see Ospreay versus Phantasmo. And rounding out that group is Yujiro Takahashi, Yoshihashi, and Shingo. So again, we'll see two of Jay White's Bullet Club members have to fight each other, El Phantasmo and Juice Robinson, and then the two of them will have to fight a House of Torture Bullet Club member and Yujiro Takahashi. So again, we might start to see a schism form between Jay White's Bullet Club and the House of Torture, and these could be the starting of the cracks in the foundation. So just going back and looking through them, let's look through A block: Lance Archer, Bad Luck Fale, Yano, Jeff Cobb, Jonah, Tom Lawler, and Okada. I see Okada getting out of that. I see Okada winning the entire G1. At this point, I definitely see Okada getting his rematch against Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom. In B block, we've got Jay White, probably the favorite to get out. Um, Dark horse is definitely Tama Tonga. The crowd really loves Tama Tonga right now. So if Jay White doesn't get out, it's probably because of Tama Tonga. But I could see Jay White getting out, and maybe that means we get our Jay White Okada rematch in the G1 semifinals or potentially the finals. That's a possibility. Great Okan, maybe a dark horse, but I don't see Ishii, Tai Chi, Chase Owens, or Sonata getting out. Although they were trying to push Sonata just before his eye injury, as he won his first ever IWGP singles title, the US title, and then got injured. But if you watched how quickly and easily Will Ospreay beat Sonata in the US title match at Dominion last weekend, you would say that Sonata has a better chance of losing every match than he does winning the group or the block. So right now, I would say Okada and Jay White out of A block and B block. When we get the C block, it's a little bit tougher now. We've got Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, Evil, Goto, Aaron Hanari, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. You can never count Tanahashi out, especially in a G1. I don't know if you have to put him as your favorite in this group of death, but maybe you have to. He's the ace for a reason. Naito's another popular choice. I don't know if maybe a Naito Jay White match is in the horizon. Kenta could make a run, like I've been saying over and over. Hanari's due for a run here. Zack Sabre Jr. could easily win the entire G1. Um, this one's a complete crapshoot. I don't even really know. I'll give you my opinion once we get closer to the G1 exactly who I think would win. But I guess at this current moment, before I make my official announcement, I'll just say Hanari gets out of this group of death. That would be the ultimate way to show that Hanari is ready to be a star. So D block, we've got Will Ospreay, El Phantasmo, Juice Robinson, David Finlay, Yujiro Takahashi, Yoshihashi, and Shingo. I could definitely see Shingo winning this group. And then we get the maybe Shingo and Naito meeting in the semifinals. They've been teasing tension between the three members of LIJ. And like I said, I don't see Sonata getting out. So if we were to see a LIJ match in the G1, it would definitely be Naito and Shingo. So potentially, if we look at it like that, we could definitely be looking at Okada, Jay White, Naito, and Shingo. But don't count out Will Ospreay, El Phantasmo in D block, and C block, of course, as Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta. So um, should be good. The only one I could say for sure is I think Okada's going to get out of that big guy group A block, but even that could be it could be someone like Jonah or Jeff Cobb springing the upset, or Tom Lawler comes in as and he'll be parading around the NJPW open weight strong NJPW strong open weight title, which they might want to give him a little bit of push to get more people to watch that show and get more interest in the LA dojo. So we never know what we're going to expect. I'll give you some more previews as we get closer. In the next shows, I think they tell us stuff like what order they fight everybody and stuff like that. So we'll get that pretty soon. And of course, we'll look and see like what the final two matches are, because that's the most important part. Maybe the first match that everyone has, and then the final two. Because no matter what, when you get to those final two matches, even if you're out of it at only 2 points and you're completely out of it, you might then be fighting a guy that still has a chance. So every match will really count once we get to the final two, but every match truly counts throughout the entire tournament, which makes it so much fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. We got a quick intermission, or just a regular intermission after that point. Didn't last too long. We've got 3 matches remaining, and wow, these 3 matches are pretty good. So like I was saying at the beginning of this review, the 2 AEW All Atlantic qualifiers tonight, a lot of people were writing them off and, oh, it's just, yeah, they put together like some random names, who's around, who wants to fight, and all of this is just to get Ishii in the 4-way match at Forbidden Door. And of course, I do agree with them that Ishii will be um, the person in the 4-way match at Forbidden Door. He's definitely the biggest name. Once they announced the 4 names, everybody just looked at the 4 names, laughed at it, and said, well, it's going to be Ishii, and then Ishii is probably not going to win the 4-way at Forbidden Door. So what does it make any sense? But I thought of it as, I think these 2 matches are actually going to be pretty good, and the final should be good as well. And especially after what we saw out of Clark Connors over the rest of the Super Juniors last month. So that is the first match. So it'll be Hanma versus Clark Connors in the first qualifier, and here's the little blurb paragraph they wrote. The first qualifying bout for the AEW All Atlantic Championship sees Clark Connors representing the LA Dojo opposite unlikely contender Hanma. Hanma's presence in this mini tournament comes some 3 weeks after he was scheduled to wrestle then IWGP United States champion Juice Robinson in the Nippon Budokan when appendicitis struck. So Hanma basically getting into this tournament because he was about to get a US title shot, or at least wrestle the champion, the US champion, Juice Robinson, where if he would have beat the champion, then he would have got a title shot. So appendicitis struck and Hanma didn't get that match. A big singles opportunity fell by the wayside, but springs back up at Kurgan Hall here in the um all Atlantic qualifiers. So, meanwhile, Clark Connors, who ended his debut Best of the Super Juniors campaign strong with a win over Alex Zane and with a victory over fellow contender in this qualifiers, Kanemaru, looks to step up and be the only American representation in the internationally focused Forbidden Door four-way. So Clark Connors is out first. Like the paragraph said, he had a good showing in the Best of the Super Juniors. I was impressed with him for sure. And at this point, Clark Connors might have stayed over in Japan after the Best of Super Junior, so he might have been in Japan for 2 months straight now, maybe longer. And like they mentioned, Clark Connors is the only American in out of all 10 people in the qualifiers. So you've got the 4 qualifiers here in Japan, and then you've got 6 one-on-one matches for the other 3 qualifying spots. So out of 10 people, the only American was Clark Connors, and he happened to be one of the 4 over in Japan fighting. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, Hanma's now out. He gets a pretty good reaction from the crowd. Japan is the only nation to have more than one representative in the 10 people in the qualifiers, despite the title being called All Atlantic and Japan being on the Pacific. But Japan is the only one to have multiple people. This is, of course, if you don't kayfabe it. If you're speaking in kayfabe terms, instead of there being 3 people from Japan and only 1 from the other 7, uh, if you kayfabe it, then there's technically only 2 from Japan, and there's 2 from Mexico. If you remember, El Desperado is billed as being from Mexico and is half Japanese to explain that he speaks Japanese. In reality, El Desperado is Japanese, fully Japanese. He went on excursion to Mexico and CMLL, like many other junior heavyweights, came back as a masked man, and is billed as being from Mexico. So if you if you want to do it like that, then there's 2 from Japan and 2 from Mexico. But in reality, there's 3 from Japan, and then you got Mexico, uh, Great Britain, USA, Canada, Bulgaria, Australia, and Netherlands. I think that's everyone, and Mexico if I didn't say them. So anyway, I just thought that was a little funny note I wanted to pass on. The crowd's really into this match, and I'm definitely giving this match. This is definitely one of the matches people just poo-pooed and didn't give any care for. But I was excited to see what Clark Connors and Hanma would do here. And spoiler alert, they deliver a really, really good match that you guys need to go watch. You guys need to go watch this and the other final 2 matches. You can go watch them for free right now on NJPWworld.com. No sign up involved whatsoever. Anyway, just like I noted on Saturday when I saw these 2 in a preview match, Clark Connors, despite being in the Best of the Super Juniors recently, is almost as big as Hanma, despite Hanma being a heavyweight. So interesting to note there and keep that in mind that they're fairly even matched as far as size goes. And like I said, the crowd's really into this already before it even gets going. Uh, it starts to get going, and within the first couple minutes, it's already the best match of the night. This is a serious match. The other ones were just like preliminary matches, trying to gain experience on young lions and set up previews for G1 and stuff like that. But this is like a real match. So Already the best of the match of the night. Definitely go watch this. We get a lot of good striking, power moves, and counters. Hanma goes for the Kokeshi headbutt, but Connors dodges. So that is the Kokeshi headbutt is Hanma's signature move. He tries to drop down with his headbutt. If you're an AEW fan and you've seen Maki Ito wrestle, she basically stole that gimmick from Hanma with the Kokeshi. And so Hanma goes for the Kokeshi headbutt, but Connor dodges. Then Connor's maintains control out of that dodge. So Connor's with a lot of moves in the corner, a lot of striking at this point. I think the crowd's rallying behind Hanma in this one. Hanma's last singles title that he held was back in 2001. Hanma's been around the block, and he's had tag titles since then. But his last singles title, I think it was some federation called like BWF that I've never even heard of. So Hanma is a lovable loser on the roster, despite his real life controversies. I don't really want to get into those right now, but like I say all the time, I can appreciate. I can in 2022, I can still watch a Chris Benoit match and say it was a good match, but then also like say that Chris Benoit is a terrible human being for what he did at the exact same time. So anyway, the crowd's definitely behind Hanma. He's the lovable loser, and Connors stays one step ahead of Hanma though, and hits him with a big pounce, Monty Brown style. So that was a cool move by Clark Connors. Connors then get caught by Hanma, who buys himself a little bit of time to recover after that pounce. The match started hot and doesn't seem like it's going to last much longer. But let me scroll down. It lasts a pretty good long time after this. So they were already looking spent, but it does last a little bit longer after this. Not too quickly, or not a quick match. It had a good length to it, perfect length in my opinion. And this was a great match. Hanma's now getting some offense in. He hits the broski boot in the corner, which I thought was cool. He then Hanma tries for the Kokeshi headbutt again, but misses. So if you're wondering, that's the entire story of Hanma's career. Like I said, he's a lovable loser type character, and he's a lovable loser because he tries hard and he always tries to do the Kokeshi headbutt, but pretty much always fails, and that's why he loses. So that's Hanma's gimmick. Anyway, at this point, both Hanma and Connors are maintaining wrist control while trading forearms at the same time. So that was pretty cool. Hanma's able to outlast the strikes longer. He's got more weight on him, so that's somewhat to be expected. Then we get um, eventually Hanma sends Clark to his knees with those strikes, and they both seem super spent now, but both fire into the rope and then into each other. So really good match. The crowd's loving it. Hanma then dodges a lariat into a lariat of his own, and then he does hit the Kokeshi headbutt, and Clark Connors is just barely able to kick out. So every now and then Hanma is able to hit the Kokeshi headbutt, but if it's not the top rope variant, it's not necessarily a finisher, as you saw here. So Hanma climbs the rope. He's now looking for the top rope, the Super Kokeshi. But Clark Connors meets him up top, and they fight on the top rope for a little bit. Hanma tries to sunset flip out of the situation, but Clark Connors is able to hang on and escape. Hanma's selling is just fantastic. Like Clark Connors hits him in the face with a couple forearms, and we're just getting. If you're an OSW review guy, he's doing like the Aloha Arn, but just after getting punched, like not even the actual Aloha Arn, just doing the emotions and all the facial expressions. Really great stuff by Hanma here. Hanma finds the energy to knock down Clark after this great selling and tries for the brain buster, but he can't get it, so he hits a diving headbutt instead. Clark fires up and hits a spear, and then a power slam, but Hanma's able to kick out. Then Clark Connors with a huge side slam to pick up the victory. Somewhat of an upset victory here. Clark Connors with a huge side slam to beat Hanma. So Clark will meet the winner of the next match, which we all assume will be Ishii, and then everybody assumes Ishii will be the one to win that match. But there is a possibility we see Clark Connors as the only American representative make it the Forbidden Door in America. So we'll have to tune in tomorrow night to find out. And I said he'll probably right here. I wrote he'll probably meet Ishii, which should be twice as good as what we just watched, and what we just watched was great. So looking forward to that match tomorrow. Props to Hanma and Clark Connors for this match. Go watch this match. It's free on NJPWWorld.com. Clark offers a hand of to shake Hanma's hand as a sign of respect, but Hanma, being the great bash heel that he is, shakes him off, tells him to f off basically, and Hanma makes his way to the back. The crowd gives both men respect, and then Connors on his way to the back says into the camera that he doesn't care who wins next. So we go right into that match. The next match is the other qualifier, the semifinal slash first round qualifier. Tomohiro Ishii versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And this is again to go to the four-way match for the All Atlantic AEW All Atlantic Championship Sunday night at Forbidden Door. So here's the little paragraph they wrote. Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshinobu Kanemaru do open weight battle in Kurgan Hall as they fight for a spot in the four-way match at Forbidden Door to crown the first AEW All-Atlantic champion. Ishii has had an impressive 2022 indeed when it comes to U.S. competition. Eddie Kingston being the most recent victim of the Stone Pitbull in the U.S., who has also scored convincing wins over Big Damo, Jonah, and Minoru Suzuki in America this year across New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact. Yet, do not discount Kanemaru, who could throw mice in Ishii's machinery. One of the most decorated junior heavyweights in Japanese wrestling history wants some international accolades to add to his collection and will battle Ishii to the last for a chance. So, really good paragraph to preview this match. It really puts home that Ishii would really want this opportunity. He is one of the most decorated junior heavyweights in Japan history, but most of those came in Pro Wrestling Noah. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, it has not been quite as big a success. Lately, Kanemaru's found a little more success in the junior heavyweight tag division alongside uh, El Desperado, but definitely not really been the singles as he's wanted. And as New Japan mentioned in that paragraph, perfect opportunity for Kanemaru to make a name for himself internationally and get a title from an international big company. So good stuff there. And then also putting over Ishii's excursions to the U.S. He's had a good year in the U.S. so far. I write down that they've definitely got their work cut out for them to top that last match we just saw. So Kanemaru's out with his bottle of whiskey. That's his gimmick. He's a cheater. He's part of the Suzuki Gun stable with Minoru Suzuki, and his weapon of choice is spitting whiskey in the eyes. So Kanemaru's out with his whiskey, and I wrote down here. I didn't that some of the stuff they already said. Basically that um, one of the best junior heavyweights. So Ishii's hard hitting style and getting hit hard is starting to catch up to Ishii a little bit, in my opinion. I think Ishii is definitely slowing down a little bit in the ring, but um, I think there's still plenty left in the tank for maybe a few more years here. So before the bell can even ring, Kanemaru jumps Ishii with a drop kick. Once the bell does ring, Kanemaru gets 3 separate near falls in a row off of roll ups. So just a really quick start to this match. Kanemaru showing that he really wants this win. Um, Crowd's really into it. They loved that last match, and now they're already into this match. It's starting strong, and in my opinion, it seems like maybe Ishii and Kanemaru just watched that match that just happened and knew that they had to up their game. So maybe just maybe they added in this quick start, and now they're out brawling in the crowd for a little bit and brawling on the outside. So maybe they added this little bit of flair to the opening. Just to try and keep up with the match before it. The beauty of professional wrestling is that we'll never know. We'll never know if this is what they were always planning or if they added it. But I love the opening here. They, like I said, do that brawling on the outside, but Ishii almost gets counted out. The referee gets up to a count of 18. Again, in New Japan, it's a 20 count, unlike a 10 count in most of America. Ishii gets in at a count of 18. Kanemaru's all over Ishii once he rolls in to break the so that he didn't get counted out. So right into a trap. Ishii counters a middle rope move into an overhead suplex. So Ishii does have the weight advantage here, as they said. This is a heavyweight versus a junior heavyweight, but Kanemaru does have the height and reach advantage. So something to take note of there. A quick striking exchange ends in disaster for Kanemaru. So we find out quickly that Kanemaru should definitely avoid any striking exchanges with the much bigger Ishii, who that's his game. That Ishii loves and relishes a striking opportunity. Um, so, like I said, that quick striking exchange ended in disaster for Kanemaru, but he quickly gets out of it to give a haluva kick to Ishii in the corner. But Ishii just completely no sells it. We get a big backdrop by Ishii, and the crowd claps loudly. So Ishii with a little bit of a Stone Pitbull, Road Warrior Hawk, no selling here. And Tai Chi speaks up when Ishii starts rubbing his boot on Kanemaru's face in a um, kind of a heel manner almost. That's not the word I was looking for, but disrespectful manner is the word I was looking for. So Tai Chi again is on commentary, and Tai Chi is part of Suzuki Gun with Kanemaru. So Tai Chi's pissed about Ishii here, showing disrespect to Kanemaru. Ishii then no sells a suplex, so we've already got two Ishii no sells in this match, and then again rubs his boot all over Kanemaru's face. So Ishii's doing his very best to piss off Kanemaru here, and it seemingly has worked. Kanemaru gets super mad, and then goes into another striking battle that Ishii easily won. So Kanemaru falling right into Ishii's trap. Ishii was successful in making Kanemaru angry so that he would go into another striking exchange that Ishii was easily able to win. So Kanemaru now in desperation mode after that gets a drop kick to the knee. So buys himself a little bit of time and some rest here. Kanemaru does with that drop kick to the knee. Kanemaru's the first one up. We get a ton of counters now, so the match is definitely turning into second gear. Again, go watch this match as well as the one before it and the main event as well. Final three matches after the intermission are amazing on this card. Amazing, graded on a scale. Amazing as far as being on like one of these kind of house show smaller events. Not quite amazing if it's on like Wrestle Kingdom. So you know what I'm saying. But yeah, Kanemaru was in desperation mode, got the drop kick to the knee, bought him a little bit of rest. Kanemaru's up first. We get a ton of counters, ending with another drop kick to the E of Ishii's. So Ishii's definitely selling his knee a lot now. Kanemaru starts attacking the knee, but Ishii gets fired up and hyperextends Kanemaru's knee on a pretty devastating looking maneuver. But stupidly gives Kanemaru a knee crusher right on the Ichii's own hurt knee. So now both men are down. The crowd claps. Kanemaru gets up and does 3 lariats in a row to knock down Ishii. So Kanemaru getting a little bit of strength here. Even able to do some striking if you count lariats as a strike, which I suppose it would be. Great match. Go watch this one too. Kanemaru then with a moonsault, but Ishii kicks out. We get a figure 4 leg lock applied by Kanemaru on Ishii. Ishii with a ton of pain, just dragged back in the middle. He's still in this figure 4 leg lock. Ishii's yelling out in pain, can barely move. He has one last attempt to get to the ropes, and he does to break the hold. So good spot there on the figure 4. Kanemaru's up first again. He's looking to end it. He's talking trash to Ishii. We get a knee crusher, this time by Kanemaru to Ishii, and then kicks him right in the head. So Ishii fights back from this. Both men go down for a little while. Crowd's into it again. We get a major lariat from Ishii into the corner. And then Ishii sets up Kanemaru on the top rope and a great looking deadlift delayed superplex. Kanemaru just barely kicks out of that. Kanemaru's now getting super desperate. He throws the referee, which is Red Shoes, but or wait, no, it's not Red Shoes. I was thinking this was the main event. This was this I forget his name, but it's not Red Shoes. Kanemaru throws the ref in the Ishii, then hits a nasty DDT. So Kanemaru then rolls over to his whiskey bottle, drinks some. He's looking to spit it in the eyes, but Ishii gets the counter. The spit hits nothing, Now there's some more great counters and another big lariat, but Kanemaru kicks out again. So really good match here. They're really throwing it down. Kanemaru again is desperate, so again throws the referee. Referee gets distracted by this low blow to Ishii, roll up by Kanemaru, and Ishii kicks out. So now we get a middle rope DDT from Kanemaru to Ishii, and Ishii still kicks out. So wow, I wasn't expect. I wrote down here, wow, I was expecting the two matches to be good and better than what other people were thinking for these qualifiers. But even I'm surprised at how good these two qualifiers ended up being. So now both men are knocked down again. The crowd claps even louder. Kanemaru kicks the knee to counter a brainbuster, but Ishii quickly no-sells it, gets the brainbuster up the win, 1-2-3, and it will be Ishii versus Clark Connors tomorrow night. The winner of that match, I'm assuming it'll be Ishii, will be in the four-way match for the All-Atlantic title at Forbidden Door this Sunday. So definitely, I'll be back tomorrow night for the review. We still got one more match to go, the main event. But yeah, this just goes to show you that the journey is sometimes better than the destination. Like everybody just assumes Ishii will win. Ishii will probably win and go on the fight in the Forbidden Door. Well, he'll probably lose. But it doesn't mean the journey there isn't just as good. Like it doesn't mean you have to not watch or care about these two matches. These four men really went out there and threw down some really good singles matches. These weren't like on Dominion, Toru Yano versus Doc Gallows was completely thrown together and lasted a minute and a half and was completely unnecessary of being on the card. Where these two matches completely elevated the card and would have never been on the card if it wasn't for the All Atlantic qualifiers. So just something to keep in mind next time you're like, oh well, I know who's gonna win, or what's even the point, or these are just thrown together matches, or stuff like that. That doesn't mean anything. So it's main event time. It's for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. The champions coming in are 6 or 9. That's Taguchi and Master Wato, and they will fight United Empires, TJP and Francesco Akira. All four of these men were in the Best of the Super Juniors, and that's kind of where this came from. They had another match at the Best of the Super Juniors finals where none of the four made it to the finals, but were involved in a match at the finals event. The direct tag team record between these two is 1-0 in favor of the United Empire. So they come in not contenders. What's the word I'm thinking of? I guess contenders is fine. They come in as contenders to the title, but United Empire does come in with the better record, 1-0. So here's the little paragraph they write for the main event. The 69th IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Team 6 or 9, are determined to rack up 69 defenses of their gold in the coming months and years with their titles. Quite an impressive feat considering the current record reign for a junior tag team is 7. Appropriately enough by Taguchi and Prince Devitt. So Taguchi does hold the record for most defenses at 7. And if you guys don't remember Taguchi's whole gimmick with 69 and like kind of transforming him into this maybe of a perverted character is he was the 69th junior heavyweight singles champion. So now Taguchi is also the 69th junior heavyweight tag team champion. And wants to have 69 defenses. So we'll see if they can have a defense here. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that long pull for 69 defenses has indeed begun. The champions are currently looking for a retention number 3, but face stiff competition in another veteran/newcomer combination in Francesco Akira and TJP. Under TJP's guidance, Akira has quickly been able to tap into his killer instinct, and with the Leaning Tower double team, we're able to polish off the champions of non-title action back on June 3rd at the Best of the Super Juniors final. That was the match I was talking about earlier. The challengers, that's the word I was looking for instead of not contenders, but challengers. I don't know why I couldn't think of challengers. I guess it's because it's 9:30 and I've been up all night. Anyway, the challengers have proven that they can get results. Can they do it with the belts on the line? So basically United Empire were the favorites of go. I was, I mean, to me, United Empire were the favorites. Just reading that paragraph and seeing that they were the beat them directly, not that long ago, and knowing that Taguchi and Wado are, I mean, at least Taguchi is more of a comedy character, and he won the titles because of the whole 69 thing. So, and I mean, clearly know that he's not going to have 69 defenses. That would be ridiculous. Although I wouldn't, I mean, it would be a fun story. Anyway, really good video package before the main event. I loved it despite not speaking Japanese, and really explained how all the meetings in the best of the Super Juniors heated things up. United Empire come out first. Francesco Akira and TJP. They have TJP has decent music. I don't hate it. Nobody accompanies them to the rings, and by nobody I mean Hanari does not accompany them to the ring. So Akira and TJP are out here on their own. They are the clear heels in this matchup, but I think despite TJP's nickname being Public Enemy, I think the crowd likes them, or maybe they just like Akira. But they are the heels in this match. 6 to 9 are out now. They're the clearly, like I said, Taguchi's a comedy babyface, despite being able to go. And then Master Wato, I think Master Wato gets a bad rap, mostly for his Karen-looking haircut, which, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I think it looks fine on him. It gives him a different look and makes him look different than other people. But anyway, he gets a lot of hate, but I do think Master Wato is going to be the future of the junior heavyweight division. If you remember how good he was as Kawato when he was a young lion, like he just looked like he was going to be. I thought his work as a young lion was better than Jay White as a young lion, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, nobody likes his Karen haircut, Master Wato, that is. And a lot of people are pretty much over Taguchi and all his funky weapon, which is his butt antics and all his comedy spots. But I enjoy seeing Taguchi. And like I said, he can go. He's kind of like he's New Japan's Orange Cassidy, which we will see Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay, also of United Empire at Forbidden Door. Not my first, second, third, and probably not even in my top 10 picks of who I would have chose for Will Ospreay to fight from the AEW roster. But I'll give Tony Khan the benefit of the doubt, and I do know that Orange Cassidy, despite all the comedy gimmicks, can go in the ring, and maybe we'll get a surprise sleeper, and it could potentially be match of the night. Will Ospreay can basically have a good match with anybody, so there's that too. Um, Red Shoes is the main event manager. Taguchi lowers his pants even before the bell can ring while Red Shoes is doing checking for weapons. So Red Shoes yells at Taguchi to pull his pants up. That's the kind of comedy stuff you're getting out of Taguchi that I was talking about. So the bell rings. TJP and Taguchi are going to start us out tonight in this main event junior heavyweight tag team title match. Um, 6 to 9 coming in as champions, trying to get all the way to 69 defenses. Can they get their third defense under their belt? We'll find out here. But I definitely thought they came in not the favorites. I thought United Empire were the favorites. We'll see how it ends up. We start out so pretty interesting here. We start out with some catch can with a little bit of lucha libre from TJP, which then Taguchi does comedy spots off of, and a lot of people might be like, "Oh, not more comedy spots from Taguchi," even in a title match. But I would tell you those people didn't watch the whole card if they're saying that, because if you watch this entire event, we just got done with two really big time singles matches that were hard hitting and great matches. So a little bit of catch can and lucha league style, which we haven't seen all night, combined with some comic relief. Like, it's called comic relief for a reason. It's to relieve you from like um intense stuff that just happened. It's basically a palate cleanser. So the catch can with the lucha libre and some comic relief, the perfect way to start this match after those last two. Normally I would never, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like comedy matches in a title match, but I just thought it was a perfect palate cleanser after those last two matches were definitely slobber knockers, as JR would say. So perfect use of the comedy relief here. um So that kind of lasts for a little bit. Then the match kicks into gear right around the 5 minute mark. So a little bit of stalling at the beginning, but it was a palate cleanser. Around the 5 minute mark, we get into a serious match, and it stayed serious for the most part. So Akira and Master Wado are now in, and we get double dives to the outside by 6 to 9. Waddle tags back into Gucci. We get a double team to both members of United Empire. Um, so 6 to 9 having a good time at the beginning here. We get two funky weapon butt thrust into both heads at the same time. Master Wado had set up on near the ropes so that their heads were next to each other. But on the third funky weapon butt attack, it was dodged, and Taguchi goes flying. Then Akira dives over the top rope, taking out both of 6 to 9 on one dive. So really good, strong start here, but we've got plenty left to go. TJP gets a 1 count on Taguchi. Plenty of fight left in Taguchi. He's only down for a 1 count. TJP then gets a leg lock on now. He cranks it in a couple times and then bridges to put extra pressure on it. Taguchi's able to get the rope. Akira now tags in. We get a double team senton maneuver to Taguchi. Taguchi's able to kick out at 2, but not at 1 anymore. Now he's at the 2. We get Akira yelling at Red Shoes to do his job. That was kind of funny. Great double team move by United Empire again to Taguchi. It involved a bunch of kicks and flips. Crowd's really rallying behind the funky weapon now. They can see that he's struggling. That was like 3 massive double teams. Red Shoes gets distracted at a point here and misses the tag to Master Wado. So Master Wado gets in looking to do his hot tag fire spots, but Red Shoes sends him back. He did not see the tag. So um, he sends Master Wado back out. TJP's now in. He misses a Tope Ken Hero on his way into the ring. This gives the opportunity for Master Wado to get the tag, but Akira is able to pull him off the apron. So Taguchi's still in trouble. The crowd can sense it, and they clap even louder. Taguchi fires up from the claps, but he gets quickly countered. But then he counters a double team and finally tags in Master Wado. So Master Wado gets the hot tag. The crowd's clapping loud. Waddle takes out both members of United Empire, then diving front flip to the outside. Waddle gets both TJ and Akira on that move. So tons of double team moves, tons of moves that hit both members. A lot of good stuff, a lot of high intensity and high pace action here. We get a high angle German suplex by Waddle that looked really nice. Then United Empire hits another double team moves, and Waddle's able to kick out of that. Great looking top rope Spanish fly by Akira at this point. Wado's saved by Taguchi, and then all 4 men are down, kind of exhausted from the quick start, just catching their breath a little bit. Let me catch my. So after all 4 men catch their breath, we get Taguchi up first out of all the people. He trades forearms with both men, but the numbers advantage quickly catches up to Taguchi, who gets taken out. Wado is the legal man, don't forget. So now they target Master Wado, who looks over at his corner, but Master Wado sees Taguchi's not there. But then all of a sudden, Taguchi crawls up and yells at Wado to tag him in. Taguchi's now in with a springboard kick. And then my favorite comedy spot from Taguchi is his Shinsuke Nakamura tribute. We get a Boombaye for a 2 count. TJP's now in trouble. Akira in to help him. He traps the head in the turnbuckle and kicks it. Taguchi fights back and almost pins TJP. We get an ankle lock now applied by Taguchi. So all kinds of stuff happening in this match. TJP counters. So Wado puts a submission on Akira after the ankle lock, but then TJP counters and puts the Regal stretch on. Master Waddle's able to throw Akira onto TJP and Taguchi to break up the pin or the submission attempt. A really good match here. Definitely go watch this. Master Waddle's able to throw Akira into them, like I said. Akira then fires up, but Taguchi counters with a kick. We crowd super loud, claps for Waddle to get the tag. Master Waddle's now in. We get a top rope shotgun drop kick. Akira kicks out at 2.9. That was super close. one of the closest near falls so far. Waddle stumbles a little bit on a move after that on Akira, but pulls it off anyway. And we get a shining wizard attempt by Akira, but it just at the last second dodged by Master Waddle. Waddle gets his submission finisher on, but TJP off of the top rope breaks the hold, and Akira almost gets a 3 off of that top rope hold, breaking the hold move. Taguchi tries to help, but gets taken out. We get the finisher of United Empire, the assisted top rope bulldog, that tower move they talked about in the opening paragraph. And yes, United Empire hit their finisher. Master Wado's down. 1, 2, 3. Taguchi's also down. We've got new junior heavyweight IWGP junior heavyweight tag team champions, and it is United Empire representatives TJP and Francesco Akira. So I immediately start writing down. I wonder if we'll see TJP and Akira at Forbidden Door, maybe defending the titles. But if you don't know, if you haven't been following the AEW Forbidden Door and New Japan storylines, Will Ospreay has a match like I was talking about, and also the IWGP heavyweight tag titles held by United Empire's Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb will be defended in a winner take all match along with the ROH tag titles, which are held by FTR. And then also in that match is Roppongi Vice. Now, it almost seems like I wish it was just FTR versus Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb. And then it was a singles match for the junior heavyweight titles, Roppongi Vice versus um, TJP and Akira. So no confirmation. I haven't heard any word if it's TJ and Akira will be at Forbidden Door, but they are the new junior heavyweight tag team champions. Other than Roppongi Vice, who's already in the heavyweight title match at Forbidden Door, a good option for Akira and TJP to defend against would have been Top Flight, but unfortunately Dante Martin's brother got hurt again in a bad car accident after just coming back from a knee injury. So Top Flight versus uh, United Empire would have been great, but that's off the books. Another match that they could have done is Red Dragon is also in AEW, so it could have been Red Dragon versus TJP and Akira. But again, on Friday on Rampage, they seemingly kayfabe or storyline broke Bobby Fish's leg when Sting made his return, and Darby Allin got revenge for them taking out Sting with the same move. So it doesn't look like Red Dragon will be there either. So I don't know what we're gonna get. So stay tuned for that news. But TJ and P and Akira get on the microphone, as does every winner of every main event in any show ever, no matter how big, how small, whether it was for a title or a 6-man tag. The winners always get the microphone at the end to send the crowd home happy. Or if you're a heel, you can tell them to F off. It doesn't really matter. But I like that about how New Japan does stuff. And when we have the English commentators with us, one of them can translate in real time what they're saying, but it's a little tougher here. Fortunately, we've got a couple gaijins here, the Japanese word for foreigner, but unfortunately, they both know Japanese, so they're not speaking for me and the other few thousand English speakers watching on New Japan World. They're speaking to the Japanese arena they're in, so that makes sense. But yeah, TJP speaks in Japanese. I don't know what he said. Akira then also speaks in Japanese, and then Akira speaks in Italian, his native language, and then Akira speaks in English and says, "And for the rest of you, thank you very much. We are the new junior heavyweight tag team champions." And that ends the short but sweet promo here. Hinari now out in the street clothes to celebrate with his United Empire partners with their new junior tag team championships. They all pose for pictures with the new titles. Then when we get into the back, we get a little bit more backstage promo. Akira asks, "Where's the beer?" And more importantly, "Where's the wine?" And then Akira says he's the first Italian to win this. I don't know if he means, well, as far as Italians go, I don't think there's ever been any other in IWGP. I'd have to look at that though. I'm not quite sure, but as far as he's probably definitely the first ever junior heavyweight tag champ from Italy. So anyway, Akira says he's the first Italian to win this. Then Akira says TJP's the first Filipino to win this. This title is the proof that we belong here. TJP then says that this is what memories are made of. Not long ago, I said the job ain't finished, but tonight we finished the job. So, good little backstage promo here. And that ends the show. So, United. Oh, I think this is TJP talking still. I forgot to finish his little promo here. He says United Empire holds the heavyweight tag titles and the junior heavyweight tag titles. So we hold the key. So hopefully this that was then he was done talking. This is me writing. So hopefully um TJP and Akira can get a match at Forbidden Door. I know they're not the biggest names in the world, but I wouldn't mind seeing the title be defended or just have them make an appearance since we're already getting United Empire in two other matches. I wouldn't mind a third at this point. So hopefully they can get a Forbidden Door match alongside Great Khan, Cobb, and Osprey. But really enjoyed this card. You can go watch it for free now. That was the end of the show. Other than we go back to the Japanese announcers, and Tai Chi is laughing at a couple of sumo wrestlers that are in the crowd, and the camera pans over to them. So funny ending to the night. Enjoyable card to watch. Much better than the Saturday card. Those two singles matches for the AEW qualifier are must watches. Don't let anybody tell you they're meaningless. It's really fun watches. This tag title main event was also fun to watch. And I'll be back tomorrow with more New Japan, uh, New Japan Road coverage. The main event will be Hiromu Takahashi versus Taiji Ishimori for the junior heavyweight singles title. So again, maybe the winner of that we'll also see at Forbidden Door. We don't know. They probably weren't too keen on having any of these junior heavyweights be in any of the AEW Forbidden Door storylines until they got the title matches over. We've got the first one over with new champions in United Empire. We'll see the singles title defended tomorrow, and then we'll maybe find out a little bit more about if these junior titles will be at Forbidden Door or not. But that's it for me. I'm out of stuff to say. Thanks for watching, and leave a comment if there's anything I can improve or anything you want me to do. And like I said, you can find my review of Dominion from last week. You can find my review of Saturday's New Japan Road show, and I'll be back tomorrow night around the same time as I was tonight, or as today, I should say. I'll be back tomorrow morning around the exact same time when the New Japan Road from June 21 finishes. So I'll talk to you then, and hope you enjoyed the content. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. Peace.